All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakadash, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahushai, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahushai, Brakti Yahweh, Brakti Yahushai. Just stumbled across this podcast. It is a couple of years old, but yeah, 1 month away from 3 years old. Joe Rogan, interesting person. He has loads of quirky characters that come on his show. From all different types of backgrounds, ethnicities, a good mixed bunch. Whether they're well known or unknown. I don't really know who this Edomite here is. This devil, one of the tie. I mean, look at his tie. You can see the symbolism there, right? There's two snakes intertwinkled. If that's a term. Okay, like those snakes that are wrapped around that symbol from or the symbol that they use on the ambulances in the States. And they're going to ask this guy, was Jeebus a real person or Jesus a real person? Okay. Now, the fact of the matter is, Jesus, okay, His Majesty in the Bible, who is Malak Hamashiach Yahushai, his real name, yes, he existed. He is a real person, and he's going to return very soon too. But this character, Jesus, okay, who these Edomites have claimed to be the Messiah, was also a real person by the name of Caesar Borgia, who existed in the 1400s, painted as the new Messiah, through Renaissance art. And Renaissance means rebirth, okay? And that was a time when Esau, the so-called white man, or the Edomites, the red man with pig skin, was coming into power. There was a transition of power slowly, right? Where Esau, was getting his power back. Well, I mean, they never had power anyway. They were getting their blessing, So it was going to be their last hurrah, which is coming to an end right now as we speak. So they painted him up as the Messiah. So basically, they have disrespected, our king on how he looks. They gave him leprosy. Okay. Which is, leprosy is yellow hair, or pale skin is a curse. Okay. They gave him that. Also changed his image. First Maccabees 3:48, and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen, like the Edomites and other nations, had sought to paint the likeness of their images. I'm sure you've seen online. I just tried to find that image. I couldn't find it, where that Greek Edomite priest, so-called priest, is painting Israelite images into giving them pale flesh, repainting them. And that's what a lot of these crackers do. Okay. I just want to go into that leprosy scripture. It's just, remember, yeah, it is yellow thin hair. Remember the yellow thin hair. Yellow thin hair. There we go. Leviticus 13:30. Then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be in sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry scale, even a leprosy upon the head or beard. Yeah. So what they've done is there's various variations of how of Caesar Borgia or Jeebus or Jesus. Okay, some of them give him that brown hair, some give him blonde hair, the brightest blue eyes and pale skin and all that kind of stuff. So basically, what they do is they call good evil and evil good. So whatever's evil, they make it good. Being a Mo, playing with children in that way, dealing with the animals that way. You know, like Job said that they are viler than the earth. You know, Job 30:8, if I'm not mistaken. They said they are viler than the earth. They do things like that. So what they do vile, they made good. They call good evil and evil good. Isaiah 5, 5 and 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. You know? This is him. Look, Caesar Borgia. A Renaissance political figure, died on 12th of March, 1507. Okay? And this guy, right, the Borgia family is known as the first crime family. Okay? As the first crime family. They were Edomites. Okay? What you got to understand is a lot of these Edomites, they took on Jake names. Okay? Even though English is a bastard language, okay, but Esau couldn't speak, so Jake, through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yeshai, created English. Okay, all these fashions you see in these old school movies, these period movies, you got to pick the meat from the bones. A lot of these crackers put, like, for example, Braveheart, they made him look like a fucking caveman, with the rags on and that. Now, Jake never dressed like that. Okay, Jake always dressed royal. Okay, that's why people, I was watching a bit on TD Jakes, the Buffalo Head. He said that he knows a lots of billionaires, and the billionaires don't dress rich, but the poor people dress rich. He didn't say in so many words. Okay, and what he was basically saying is that the so-called white man wears tennis shoes and basic stuff, and they're billionaires. Okay, and Jake, who works from 9 to 5 or whatever, dresses royal all the time, or whenever they get the chance. Okay, there's an answer for that. Number one, Esau, even if you're a billionaire and you wear basic clothing, you're stupid because you got untold amounts of cash. And if you don't know how to dress or enjoy your money, then you're a fool. Then you don't deserve that sort of wealth. Number one. And number two, Esau is not a royal people. Hence the reason why they don't wear jewelry and clothes and certain they don't have that style the way Jake does. Number three, Jake dresses royal all the time. Wears the jewelry, the grills, and the nice clothes, all that. Why? Because they know deep down in their spirit that they are a royal people. Whether they're the chosen or unchosen. Okay, on this side to get through into the chariots by the straight gate. Okay, there's an answer for that. Okay, now back to the fact of the matter here. Okay, that's Caesar there. Okay, you see him? His dirty hair. Obviously, there's various variations. They made the eyes blue, a bit paler, and all that kind of stuff. He came from Spain. Like I was saying earlier, a lot of these Edomites taken on Jake names. A lot of the Irish surnames, a lot of the Scottish surnames, Welsh surnames, Spanish surnames. Don't get it twisted. A lot of the Southern Kingdom, the so-called Negroes, didn't just come from West Africa. They came from Spain, Portugal. They came from all different parts of the world, and those names are ours. Esau never had names, man, like Stuart and McLaughlin or they didn't have names like that, man. Those aren't their names. Or James, like King James. Those are royal names, man. Even though it's English, but still it's all Jake. What Esau did is they took it away and they gave it back to us. And a lot of Jake things are slave names. Well, really, if it wasn't your family name, then it is a slave name to a certain degree, yeah. Okay? And so what happened was a lot of the Jakes that were taken from West Africa, they didn't speak English. They had like names from that part of the world have names that, for example, they spoke a dialect of Hebrew, and whatever language they spoke at that time, when Esau took them from West Africa by help of the Hamites, like Somalians and other heathen nations, okay, and the Arabs, these camel jockeys are in your neighborhoods, banging your women, saying, hello brother, and they got a bit of curly hair, and that you think that's a brother because they got a bit of kinky hair. They're heathens, man. Some of them, don't get it twisted. We're everywhere. But you can usually sort of bump into an Israelite foreigner, and through the spirit that, okay, yeah, that's a brother. But a lot of these heathens, man, they don't care about you. Okay, so yeah, we're from all over the world, man. Okay, and that's Caesar. All right. I want to play the video, or shall I go into the description? Let's go into the description of Yahushua first. His Majesty. The revelation of Hamashiach Yahushua, which the Most High gave unto him to show unto his servants the things which must shortly come to pass, and he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play the vid as well, or the Joe Rogan podcast. The guy's going to talk about, whether Jesus existed, okay? And we know Yahushua existed, okay? And he's talking about scholars. I'll let you hear it when I play it. Okay, verse 2. Who bear record of the word of the Most High and the testimony of Hamashiach Yahushua and all things that he saw. Blessed is he that readeth and they that hear the words of this prophecy and keep those things which are written therein, for the time it is at hand. Okay, where is the verse? Okay, let's go from... We'll give his description. Okay, verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. Why they call him the Son of Man? Because Yahushua, even though he's the only begotten Son of His Majesty, Adawan Abanawa Yahweh, right? He was made from the seed of man. So Joseph had sex with Mary. Hence the reason begotten, because begotten is, you get begotten through sex, right? So that's why he had to be born as a man. Okay, and the Son of Man, meaning that, he was born, on earth the way everybody else was, but he was a special spirit. He's the only begotten Son of the Most High, Son of Man. Clothed the garment down to the foot and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. Garment down to the foot. He's wearing a garment like a lot of the elders, apostles, and prophets do of Great Millstone and affiliate camps. Obviously Yahushua was wearing some, very royal level, right down to the foot, looking majestic and warrior-like, and with a border of blue, and on top of that he had a gold belt, and his head and his hairs were white like wool. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. Okay? His head and his hairs, that's his beard and that's the hair on his head, were white like wool. Okay? Wool is not straight hair. Wool is curly, okay, kinky hair, like basically afro hair, all right? And his eyes were as a flame of fire. Okay? He's angry. And also the fact that, in Genesis says that, his eyes shall be red with wine. So he drank a lot of wine. And then they call him a wine bibber. Is it wine bibber? Or a wine drinker? They call him glutton because, he liked to eat and drink. Like most Jakes like to eat and drink. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as a sound of many waters. Okay? Now brass, if you've got any brass doorknobs in your house, okay, when you put them, when you attach them to the door, they're all nice and shiny and everything, and you might polish them for a little while. But we're in hell, so sometimes you can't get to all the nitty-gritty, intricate cleaning that you want to do. You just do the basics, the mopping, the cleaning, the hoovering, and all the dusting, and all that kind of stuff. And brass is usually sometimes gets darker over time if not polished. But either way, it's still a golden color. Okay, it's a tinge of brown. Okay, but this is the next part. This is this is the next bit. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. Okay, meaning that it was very dark, and his voice as a sound of many waters. Okay, meaning that he had a loud voice. He had a powerful, majestic, roaring,
I think he was a real person,
but
right?
He was ahead of his time, anyway.
So you do think he was a real person?
Yeah.
Sort of, again, moral scaffolding to live their life.
Yes. Well, Jesus would probably, on the whole, provide a fairly good moral scaffolding. Not totally, but
right.
He was ahead of his time, anyway.
So you do think he was a real person?
Most of the scholars I've talked to say he probably was. The evidence is not great, of course, but I think I don't think it's that big a deal, actually, because a wandering preacher called Yeshua or Yehoshua would not be surprising. I mean, it's a common name,
right.
And there are plenty of wandering preachers. What would be very surprising would be if he raised Lazarus from the dead and walked on water and turned water into wine. And that, of course, did not happen.
Well, why?
There you go. Okay, it's not in them to believe, and it's not for them to believe. But they're Edomites, they're heathen, they're the basest of men. Okay, you dumbasses out there that think that that the Lord ain't real. The Lord's very real, man. If the Lord can raise up an ugly, disgusting, stank, filthy, pigskin people and make them, the stars of, for example, 30 years ago, Baywatch. Make them the epitome, make them the image of beauty and attractiveness, and give them rulership of the planet, and have a heavy demon working with them, even to get women of other nations, because women of other nations believe that this cracker is somebody. They don't realize, man. They don't realize. They're bypassing steak just to eat a GMO hamburger. Shit, even a GMO hamburger has more value than an Edomite. Okay? So if the Lord can do that, set up the basis of men to rule, don't you think? And Jake is still excelling to a certain degree in their society and taking their women. Okay? And when I say taking their women, I'm not saying it in wickedness, okay? I'm saying that, women of other nations gravitate towards Jake, okay? There are Jake out there that do that that weird shit. I don't recommend doing that. It's not right, okay? But that's on you. That's you. Hey, the Lord will deal with you, man. But anyway, like I was saying, if the Lord can do that, the Lord's gonna, what do you think he's gonna do for Jake, man? And these Edomites don't believe, okay? This cracker even said that, Yahweh Shai didn't walk on water, didn't do this, the things that are written, okay? And he goes, the scholars say this, and scholars say that. What scholars are you talking about? Huh? The scholars that follow a particular script, which you're following right now? These guys are liars. But they're a stumbling block unto the wicked. So a lot of you Jakes out there are going to believe this ish. They're going to believe this. You're not going to believe in the scriptures. You're not going to believe in the Bible. They're going to call it a white man's book when it's not a white man's book. Okay? so-called white man is not even white. It's red. Okay, look at the curtains in the background of this picture here, of this still. They're a velvety kind of beautiful purpley color. Okay, and Esau there is not white. His hair on the top of his head is white here because he's got stringy, a cul-de-sac on his head, right? With that pink red skin. That's red. Okay? It's a stumbling block onto your wicked, and it's a stumbling block onto your heathens out there that don't believe. So you can do what the hell you want to do and be a beast, and be a brute beast. And what do brute beasts do? Like a pig, what do? They deal with they eat crap. They do filthy acts. That Crawley spirit. Do thou wilt, I think whatever it's called. I keep forgetting these names. Do thou wilt, is it? Alex. Do what thou wilt, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the Lord, meaning the adherents of Thelema should seek out their Furupot. Yeah, that's what Crawley used to say, do what thou wilt. And Jay-Z had that on his t-shirt for a little while. Psalm 14. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt, they have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. Okay, so these idiots have said, there is no Most High. Okay, and they don't have faith because it was never given to them. The law was never given to them when Israel is a chosen. So how could somebody break the law when the law wasn't even given to them? The stipulation is you have to be given the law in the first place, and you have to be of those people. And faith is a gift. Hebrews 11 verse 1. And Esau doesn't have it. Okay? A lot of you dumbasses out there will see that cracker there with his tie, talking with a British accent. Okay? He knows what he's talking about. And some Jake comes on, and Jake's on the podcast, hypothetically speaking, and speaks his mind. And Jake's wearing a meat tree, wearing the royal garments, looking majestic, but humble and manly, and then speaks the truth. You can say, just another bugged out N-word, just another bugged out N-word. You see Esau, looking decrepit and frail as hell, probably drank baby blood before he came on the show, and he probably, he knows something. Okay? And a lot of you people out there are going to die like him. And you heathens are going in slavery, and a lot of you Jakes are going to die following this doctrine of, having no faith and not believing in the Messiah. The Messiah existed, but he did not look like Caesar Borgia. Okay? His description is in Revelations 1 verse 1 onwards. Read it. Okay? Daniel 7:9 is a description of the Most High. Okay? Read Leviticus 13 as well, or Leviticus is in there. We're in the digital age. Google it. You can find it. It'll pinpoint a particular scripture with a particular key word. Look for it. All right? Faith. Okay? Gift is definitely a gift. We all in the flesh. Sometimes you go through some troubles, and the way to stay locked in, like Elder Apostle Rakar says, man, keep your medicine strong. You feel better after prayer, don't you? You feel better after you've prayed. You feel locked in. You feel better. Obviously, we're in the flesh. Sometimes you go through what you're going to go through, because you go through you throw so many things in your life. You get kicked down when you're low, and you think, will I ever get what I've been desiring? And you're not desiring something crazy. You're just desiring basic things like other people have. But sometimes the walk of Jake, especially if you're trying to do right, is a little harsher. But like boxers do, boxers train hard and fight easy. So we're training hard right now, And Ardawan Ratizar, we can fight easy if that's the Lord's will, when the time comes. And the rest of these mofos out here that are, everything's pucker and perfect for them, and obviously it's perfect for the heathen, but I'm talking for Jake as well. That's doing all right, and they're doing their thing. I mean, they're doing no wrong by providing for their family and their wife or their wife or their children. Nothing wrong with that, but some of them just don't believe and they haven't been given the blessing of knowing the name. But they're blessed because they're Israelites, so they're going to be ruling on the other side anyway. But a lot of you are going to die as well. And especially you women of our nation, man. Especially you women of our nation that do the filthy things that you do. You have 200-300 men, and you think a man's going to wife you up and be with you and provide for you and have children with you? Some men have in their stupidity back in the day. But no man out here, I don't care how fine she is, okay? Right? You should not be wifing up no wench like that. I'm just going off different videos I've been seeing, online. It makes you want to throw up, man, straight up. And I feel sorry for Jake out there, man, that gets with a woman like that. A woman like that, man, you just deal with and you keep it moving. You do, if she does good by you, so-called good, fair enough, But you don't move in, you don't do none of that shit, Unless, she is just exceptional and she's just gone through a few bad times. She never had a father and all that. We don't know, right? Some women go through a bit of hell and stuff like that until they bump into the right man and they really want to be good women, But if there's ever such a thing, I haven't found it yet, okay? Okay? But some of you brothers have, you got decent women. That's a blessing, man. So, faith, man. Faith is key. Without faith, because a lot of Jake out there and a lot of, I was watching a Bernie Mac skit. Bernie Mac said that, he doesn't believe nothing until he sees it. That's the wrong spirit to be in. Okay? You got to hope. If you don't have hope, there's nothing left. If you don't have faith, what have you got? Huh? What have you got? Your 9 to 5, which they can let go at any time, and then you're in agony and stress, thinking, "Shit, I've got to get something sorted. I've got to get something confirmed." I've got to get, got to get a new job. The Lord will give you one, man. The Lord will give you one. Usually, the way it works out for brothers in the truth is usually they get a better job than the one they had before, Or it could be the same money, just better conditions, where you got a little bit more autonomy and you can focus more on watching the videos and studying as well. The Lord blesses you that way. But it is what it is. We're in hell, It's not meant to be a perfect, smooth ride, But faith is definitely something that you got to have. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, and now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Okay. Hebrews 11 verse 6. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. You got to seek the Lord, man. And don't be worried about, if you start crying while you're praying, man. You're pleading to the Lord. You're sincere. Everybody cries, man, because they're just fed up of this place, Okay. Just wanted to touch on that, man, where Esau is just a base man, okay, and it was never given unto them to believe, okay. What they've done is created a scenario, whitewashed images to give you their script to follow to a certain degree, so they can look good on the earth, so they can look like gods, so women can be googly-eyed when they see him. So when a nigger woman or any woman of any nation of color sees him, or an Israelite foreigner woman, wherever she looks like, sees him, right? She thinks, okay, he looks just like the Messiah. He looks like Jesus. So therefore, I've got to get me an Edomite, or a woman would say she needs to get herself an Edomite male, so she can be closer to God. You know what I'm trying to say? Is that sort of thing. Okay? Even you Edomites in your high, okay, in the 90s, when you crackers used to, be in Baywatch and shit, all that kind of stuff. Beverly Hills 90210. Your era of being a so-called white man was so-called cool. Even back then, the 90s, Jake was running through your Edomite women just like anything. Because there's nothing. The biggest slut on the woman on the of women on the earth is an Edomite woman, and every nation of man has had one. Okay, every nation of man. All right. So you guys, made it look like that you were something, but you weren't something back then, man. Jake was a superhero. If you're old enough to remember the 90s, especially back in 91, 92, the mid 90s, you remember the music videos, man. You remember the era. You remember going to the clubs. You remember Jake there, man, just doing his thing. Esau be at the bar getting drunk, and the Edomite women would be on the dance floor, and Jake just flexing and shit. Something would come on, some badass R&B track. Jake would be just doing his thing, and women just gravitate towards Jake, man. If you're old enough to remember, man. And even now, Jake with his the look that he has like a Mo, Edomite women still gravitate towards him, and women of other nations, man. That's how you got Israelite foreigners, man. Don't get it twisted on how you look outside. More than likely, your forefathers, if you're Jake, more than likely your forefathers were so-called black men. So don't get it twisted, man. Don't get it twisted. All right. And when I say black men, I'm talking about Israelite men. I'm not talking about you dirty Hamites, okay? You Somalians, you pygmies, whatever you are. Okay, we're scattered to the four corners of the earth, and there's Jakes amongst you. You usually shun them. All right, so don't get it twisted. But I'm referring to my people. All right, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians, and Israelite foreigners out there that are scattered in every nation, pursuant to Isaiah 11 and 11, 11 and 12. Okay, because through every captivity and every time we had to do something, whatever uprising it was, we went to other nations and we settled there. We settled with the other nation, had children with the other women, all that kind of thing. I know I'm digressing. I'm all over the place. It's just that sometimes, you got to let out a few things. And, But anyway, faith is key. Yahushua existed. Esau whitewashed it. Esau has a narrative. That narrative is ending. Yahushua is returning soon. Wa abad baba. Kwam yashala. Brakti Yahushua Shalom.